Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is pbogz, otherwise known as Paul, and I am making this video for you guys, for people who feel like they need some coaching, for people who aren't sure on how some poker players coach students, and also for some who are just a little skeptical of why they should, put their hard-earned money into a complete stranger or somebody who can very easily not even know what you're talking about. So I made this just to make it a little bit easier and for you to make a more rational decision. So let's get the show on the road. So first slide here is just basically me giving you basically a sample of like a resume. Nothing too, complex, just simple things like, for example, I am a Heads Up instructor on the website known as husingo.com, where you can go on and, see a bunch of free videos or, subscribe to certain packages to watch other kinds of videos. And also, you could also see for other tabs for other coaching, regarding higher stakes and whatnot. Bunch of great coaches on there, bunch of great videos. I don't think you can go wrong with anybody on that site, to be honest with you. Next thing is I'm a winning player. If you'd like, you could shark scope both names, Kenflo and pbogz. It's kind of one of those things where if you want coaching, you want it from somebody who's actually winning, and in this case, it's kind of proof in the pudding. And if you want to go out of your way just to check that, I have no problem with that. And also just tell you about what I actually teach, because I was contacted a few days ago about teaching somebody a hyper turbo, and unfortunately I don't do that, though some very good players make tons of profit doing the hypers. I think that the edge is a lot smaller, and a lot of people do say that there are a lot more fish at the hypers, but that's because the edge is so small and you have a lot of variance, so you better be ready to get tons of bad beats and put tons of bad beats on other players. But at the same time, I feel like turbos and regular speeds, there's still plenty of fish at the turbo level. The reg speed not so much, but that's why I basically play 100% of my games at the turbo level. And I just feel like you have more room to play poker. You have definitely a good quality of players if you just decide that you want to play, regs and stuff like that. And also, you'll find your fish. Don't worry about it. You'll definitely find your fish. Hold on, skip the slide there. Alright, so once again, why should you trust my abilities to teach you the right way to play cards? I mean, it takes a lot to basically say, okay, I'm going to take my hard-earned money and put it into you and then gamble with other money. So it kind of feels like you're gambling twice. But I could reassure you that you're definitely not. If anything, poker is more of just knowing what you're doing. And yeah, there's like a luck factor with variance. But at the same time, if you know what you're doing, you're going to win. I've won basically my whole entire career, and I feel like the whole time I've actually known what the heck I'm doing. And with that said, most of the time I'm all in with the best hand. Once in a while I'll get really unlucky. Sometimes I'll just, get outplayed by certain opponents or whatnot, just, being card dead and whatnot. But at the end of the day, if you know how to play, you're going to feel comfortable playing, and you won't even get that mad losing. So it's not like, oh, you had an unlucky day. You just running bad, and at the end of the day you'll win it back, and knowing that you'll win it back in the back of your head is something that's so reassuring that you can't put a price on. So let's get back to why you should trust me. One thing is I'm looking to build a big clientele. Now, I've been playing for a long time, and now I'm deciding I wanted to start coaching a little bit more and making videos and just teaching, because not only do I enjoy teaching, but I feel like coaching is something that I can also be very, very good at. So I'm not trying to find like, a handful of students and just bullshit them and, try to get their money and teach them something that's wrong. I'm looking to, build a big clientele, get a bunch of people involved, and just, teach them the right way. And at the end of the day, make a great name for myself and have students be able to tell other students and other people that, what, I am the real deal and I should be recommended for any other students that you may know or complete strangers. Next thing I talked about before is I'm a proven winner with the stats to back it up. Once again, you can go on sharkscope.com. I believe you get five free searches. So if you want, you can search both those names if you don't trust me. And my Kenflow name is on Bodog, and my pbogz name is on Revolution Network. So no big deal there. And another thing is, I'll go out of my way to guarantee improvements. Like, I'll spend extra time with students who aren't quite grasping the information, which I already do with my students I have now. But if you're not understanding something, it almost bugs me out because I feel like I'm doing something wrong. So I'm going to go with your extra time, not unpaid time. I'm not going to charge you for extra time. If you're not getting, something that we're working on, like, let's say, check raising or barreling, if you're not understanding that, I'll go out of my way to make sure that you understand. So at the end of the day, I'm going to guarantee you that you're gonna get a lot of invested time into your gameplay separately, not just all students in a group, but separately. I will take my time with you and make sure that you're understanding what level of play that we're on. So that's something good to have in your back pocket as a student. So what makes me different from other coaches? So, there's obviously a million coaches out there, and, some have different types of, teaching methods, and some are just more aggressive, and some are a little more tight as of playing styles. But I think that one thing that I do right off the bat that a lot of students do like is that I'm an easygoing guy who just enjoys coaching players. Like, I'm not somebody who you can't contact randomly and keep asking questions because you feel like you're bombarding me or ruining my day. I'm the kind of guy who enjoys, okay, as soon as you say it, if I'm in a game, I'll be like, okay, let me finish this game and I'll get back to you, and then we'll talk about it. So I'm going to make it very easy and comfortable for you to approach me, which is, I think, goes a long way in a lot of people's books. Another thing which I talked about before is I'm going to go the extra mile in, like, all your videos that you send me, like Leakfinders and discussions and hand histories and all that stuff. I will go the extra mile just to make sure that you understand what you're talking about. A good example is I had a student, I charged him $30 for an hour video the other day, and I ended up sending him an hour and 15 minutes of video. So I gave him an extra 15 minutes, and I didn't even think, I just gave him it. It was no charge, no nothing. I just wanted to elaborate a little bit extra, and I feel like that 15 minutes made it a lot easier for him to understand because it needed to be there. So that's something that I do a lot of. Another thing is I can always be reached when a student has any random questions. Like I said, I'm always basically on my computer, which means I'm always on Skype, and if I am away from my computer, I always give out my email, so you can email me with any questions, and I'll answer them as soon as I can, as soon as I see them, which is, usually pretty fast because I check my email a lot. I have a student today that usually hits me up on Skype all the time and just sends me, like, hand histories during the game, and he'll be like, okay, did I put this wrong? Did I put this right? Or, and now that he's getting better, he's like, oh, look what I did to this guy. So before it was like, oh, I don't know if I did this right. Now it's like, oh, look what I did, coach. So he is definitely improving, and he doesn't feel weird about contacting me at any time. So I'm sure he doesn't mind that at all. I'm sure he likes that. And also, at the end of the day, I'm, not just going to be your coach, but chances are we're going to develop some kind of friendship. With all of my students I have now, I pretty much have a good friendship with all of them. Some more than others, but at the same time, it's not just a business thing. Like, at the end of the day, you're going to get what you pay for. You're going to get the business side of it. But at the same time, if you're just, like, talking poker with somebody, if you just, need somebody to talk to about something random, like, at the end of the day, it's just, like, it's a friendship type deal. So, you're kind of getting two things in one with only paying for one. So I think it's pretty awesome. So one thing that I decided to do, make a slide with, was I feel like a lot of students, definitely on my target audience, my target market, a lot of them don't really know the lingo, of poker. So I decided to make this slide to help you guys understand what things mean. So this is basically a list of how I teach. So let's start from the top. Leakfinders. Leakfinders are basically what I start all my students out, so I understand what level they're on. For example, you have a software like Camtasia or something like that. You record one of your games versus any opponent. You send it to me, and then I'll look at it and diagnose the problem. So I'll do a voiceover of it, send it back to you, and let you know what I think you did wrong, what I think you did right, what I think you need improvements with. Think about it kind of like being like a car dealership type deal. Like, you know, you bring your car in, they'll tell you what's wrong with it, and they'll give it back to you, and they ask you if you want them to, you know, continue to fix it. That's kind of the same thing. I'll let you know what's wrong with it, I'll let you know how to fix it, and I can definitely teach you how to fix it. So Leakfinders are very good to start off with. Not only does it help me with that, it helps me understand where I start you on my syllabus. I could start you at, like, you know, the beginning of like 1 and 2, or you could be a little more advanced and be starting off at like 5 or 6. So these are just points on my syllabus that I like to, you know, kind of like a chart where I put each student on, which is good. The next thing is live sweat, which is basically me. On Skype, you can basically do kind of like a headphone thing where, let's say you're playing and I can see your computer screen, so I can see you playing, but at the same time I'm in your ear. So it's a little uncomfortable for some students at first, but it's something where if I'm telling you something on the spot, I think it sinks in a little bit faster. So if you're in a hand and you don't know, you know, what to do, and you ask me and I tell you in the spot, I feel like you understand it a lot better because it's literally somebody in your ear. So a live sweat is something that helps a lot of players. Some are a little uncomfortable with it, like I said before, but at the end of the day, I think it works faster and better. And another thing is going over hand history. This is basically just, you know, sitting down and going over a bunch of hands that you were confused on, or just a whole game in general, and just slowly going over, you know, what you did wrong, what you did right, what you can do, other ways to take the approach to it. Should you limp? Should you call? Should you raise? Stuff like that. Just a bit of everything, kind of in slow motion. So it's more of a session of just, you know, slowly going over everything, which is, you know, it's cool. It helps a lot of students out. And lastly, something I like to do a lot of is I make my very own quizzes, and they're not much, but at the end of the day, they're what I do after I teach you. Like, let's say we just went over, let's say, continuation betting, okay? Now after it's done, I'm gonna basically give you a bunch of questions and quiz you on it, and I'm going to, you know, make it tough on you, so you really know. I'm gonna have you explain it to me, and if you just try to give me the answers that you think I want to hear, or you've heard me say it, so you think that's what I want to hear, I'm going to have you get deeper involved, give me an analysis of why it's that way, so I completely understand and completely believe what you're giving out, so you're just not trying to tell me at the end of the day so you don't feel stupid or uncomfortable. This is not about feeling stupid or, you know, not good enough to play cards. This is about, you know, getting the right information and improving. Nobody starts off as an expert. Like, it just doesn't happen that way. Usually people just don't get coaching and develop their own little things in their mind and think that they're right, but at the same time it's wrong. This is going to assure you that you're doing everything right, and at the end of the day, I'm going to make sure you know it. I'm not going to accept your bullshit answers. I'm going to be tough on you, and that's just the way I am. I'm an easygoing guy, but when it comes to grasping the information, I want to know that what I'm saying is getting heard. So definitely something that, you know, works, because I feel like sometimes I've had students just try to tell me why, and then I'll be like, explain, and they won't explain, so then we'll go over it more. So it catches a lot of students, but at the end of the day they learn, so it's good. So lastly but not least, why wait any longer to improve your game? First of all, I like to say that my prices are very affordable. I made sure of it to start off on a very low pricing scale, just because I know a lot of coaches start very high, and it's very unaffordable. Definitely, if you're playing like $10 sit and goes, you're just not making that back up in time, you know. And another thing is that I don't mind starting a student from scratch, from level 1, and, you know, developing them to a great player. I feel like a lot of coaches have a problem with starting so low and just not willing to take the time to really explain everything, the basics. So that's something that I am definitely capable of doing. As we currently speak, I'm running a $15 special for Leakfinders, which I just explained to you before. This is basically just, you know, going over your gameplay via video and, you know, explaining what you're doing right and wrong and how we can fix it. Thirdly, I'm gonna click on this link for you guys. This is something that I find that's really, really cool. This basically stating that online poker is back, as you see. Legal website launches in Nevada, and I also heard today that Connecticut, Foxwoods in Connecticut has made an agreement with an online site in Connecticut, so that's very good for the East Coast, and hopefully New York would tag along. But think of it like this: think of it like, the housing market, a few years ago. Now, if you had some houses and you were already, completely, equipped with the essentials that you need to know while doing that kind of business, when that hit, you made a ton of bank because you were ahead of the curve. Now, I feel this is the kind of the same way. Like, before Black Friday, poker was, fish city, money was easy, cash outs were easy, everything was just so simple. As soon as Black Friday hit, a lot of the fish went away. A lot of players still playing were, decent. So there's still a lot of not very good players, but there's some decent players, and cash outs were just, horrible. So it's like, why not wait? Well, this is the perfect time, because you only have like a few more months before all this stuff starts, blowing up and everybody starts coming back, and then you want coaching, and you're just kind of, with everybody else. If you're coaching now, you'd be ahead of the curve, so you can guarantee yourself more money because it's happening. The boom is coming back. So I think this is great. So once again, if you are intrigued, if you are interested, please Skype me at pbogz 1114. Skype is easy, it's free to download, and it's free to chat all day long, so there's no reason why you shouldn't do it. You can use it on your phone, your Android or your iPhone, and you could even use it on your laptop or desktop. So once again, my name is pbogz, otherwise name is Paul, and I am looking forward to be your coach. So contact me if you'd like.